Deep in the Italian countryside, archaeologists have made the discovery of a lifetime, a long-lost Roman amphitheater buried for over a millennium. Their excavation reveals an opening that leads to underground tunnels, enticing them to venture inside and uncover secrets hidden for centuries. The Colosseum stands in Rome's heart as an enduring symbol of the Roman Empire. Famous for its spectacular gladiatorial contests featuring brutality and death, this architectural marvel continues to captivate our imagination with its scale and ambition. Now, an international team of archaeologists is investigating how this megastructure became so crucial to the Roman Empire. It was initially a Roman amphitheater, but it becomes the symbol of Rome itself, explains archaeologist Valerie Higgins. We must ask ourselves why. The weathered facade of today shows little trace of the marble that once adorned this colossal structure. Completed in 80 AD, the amphitheater seated 50,000 spectators and featured statues of gods and goddesses in its arches. Emperor Vespasian and his son Titus presented it as a gift to the people of Rome, where citizens gathered alongside the emperor under a retractable awning to witness the greatest and bloodiest entertainment of ancient Rome. Valerie Higgins has made Rome her home and harbors a lifelong passion for its ancient civilization. She's exploring how the Colosseum, an arena of entertainment, became central to the very concept of Rome. To investigate what occurred behind the scenes of the amphitheater's spectacular shows, she descends to the area beneath the arena floor, once a labyrinth of dark tunnels, to search for clues. There were holes surrounded by white stone throughout the basement, Valerie notes, examining the evidence. They must have served a purpose related to events happening on the arena floor. Searching the surviving structures, she finds grooves cut into the rock and stones positioned at unusual angles. This was likely a ramp into the arena, she explains. It shows how the Romans created magic in their spectacles, allowing animals or people to appear as if from nowhere. The Romans engineered an elaborate system of pulleys and cages that delivered wild animals into the arena to astonish crowds. The spectacle typically began with a hunt where hundreds of exotic animals from across the empire were released and slaughtered by trained hunters. Next came executions, where convicted criminals met gruesome deaths, often mauled by wild beasts. The grand finale featured gladiators fighting head-to-head in mortal combat. Valerie continues her investigation by examining a nearby structure that served as training quarters for gladiators. This mini Colosseum must have been where they prepared for these complex games, she observes. These were not just impromptu fights, they required extensive choreography and preparation. About 130 miles north of Rome, in Tuscany's Volterra region, a team of archaeologists is unearthing an extraordinary discovery that might help solve the puzzle of the Colosseum's cultural significance. Team leader Elena Sorge directs the excavation of what appears to be a smaller version of Rome's famous amphitheater, hidden beneath the grass for over a millennium. Finding an unknown, unexcavated amphitheater here represents one of archaeology's most significant recent discoveries. This virgin site has attracted international experts who are shifting thousands of tons of soil to reveal the ancient arena, audience seating, and hidden treasures. What makes this discovery particularly intriguing is its location. The ancient people of this region weren't Roman. They were Etruscans, longtime rivals of Rome. This area was among the last in the Italian peninsula to fall under Roman rule. The team knows that determining when the amphitheater was built might reveal why it was constructed here at all. During their excavation, the team uncovers an intact vase that has survived for at least 1,500 years. They call Eva Pianini, the lead restorer, to examine the find, hoping to find a maker's mark or other elements that might help date the pottery. Though they don't discover a definitive dating stamp, they do find a fingerprint, a human touch preserved across the centuries. The vase is sent to a laboratory for further analysis. The excavation takes an exciting turn when the team discovers an unexpected opening in the ground. Elena races to the scene and becomes the first person to enter this tunnel in over a millennium. The passageway could provide crucial evidence about the amphitheater's construction and purpose. These discoveries suggest that amphitheaters weren't just entertainment venues, but powerful symbols that the Romans strategically placed throughout their conquered territories, even in regions that had long resisted Roman influence, to reinforce their cultural and political dominance. American architectural technologists Paul Aubin and Mark Dietrich employ state-of-the-art laser scanning technology to create a detailed digital map of the Volterra site. Their scanner captures millions of data points per second, allowing for forensic-level study of the ancient structure. You can't describe the feeling of being inside a monument that has just been discovered and is literally emerging from the ground, Mark shares with evident excitement. The scans help recreate the structure in its prime. Sandstone arches once supported seating for 10,000 spectators around a central arena. The builders apparently cut part of the structure into the bedrock of a hill and constructed vaulted galleries connecting the arena to outside stairs. When Elena discovers an entrance to an underground tunnel, Paul and Mark eagerly scan the passageway. "This hasn't seen the light of day in a long time," Paul remarks as they enter. Their scans reveal a network of previously unknown hidden passageways that could help determine when and why this amphitheater was built. Later, as they review their 3D scans, the digital imaging allows them to identify the underlying engineering of the entire structure. "We're getting a nice hint of the elliptical shape now," Mark observes. "The geometry of this amazing monument is becoming much clearer." The team also scans Volterra's ancient theatre, built at the end of the 1st century BC. Comparing these scans with those of the amphitheater suggests both structures may have been designed by the same architect for the Caesinas, a local Etruscan clan who displayed their grand ambitions through lavish Roman-style buildings after their region fell under Roman control. Meanwhile, in southern England, another buried Roman amphitheater is being excavated at Richborough. Lead archaeologist Tony Wilmot notes, "It's exciting to excavate because it's one of the few building types the Romans invented themselves without borrowing from the Greeks. Most of this enormous structure remains hidden under a vast mound. Over the years, debris and earth collapsed into the arena, filling it 9 feet deep. After weeks of digging, the team exposes the arena wall, constructed from chalk blocks rather than the more durable stone used in other Roman structures in the area. Historian Paul Patterson examines the wall. The use of locally quarried chalk, rather than materials from farther away, might indicate the construction is quite early. This insight is significant because Richborough was where the Romans invaded Britain in 43 AD, suggesting the amphitheatre was built not long after the conquest. The team makes an unexpected discovery when they find traces of ancient paint on plastered walls. We've got blues, red and yellow, Tony points out. I wouldn't be surprised if those red curls were the last vestiges of a figure. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought of that, Paul remarks. A decorative pattern on an arena wall is of international importance. The finding of this rare fresco reveals how much care the Romans lavished on the Richborough amphitheatre, even in this distant province. Unfortunately, the English weather repeatedly interrupts their work. During one rainstorm, the excavation, floods requiring the team to bail out water. This is the romance of archaeology in action, Tony jokes. When the weather clears, they rush to protect the newly exposed fresco with tarps before the rain returns. Despite these challenges, the team continues to investigate why this amphitheatre was built so far from Rome, uncovering a structure alongside the arena wall that appears to be a casa, a holding chamber for animals or people waiting to enter the arena. In Rome, Valerie investigates the theatre of Pompey, built about 100 years before the Colosseum. Though the theatre no longer exists, its semicircular shape can be detected in the curve of modern streets. I can see the buildings today are following the same shape as the theatre of Pompeii, Valerie observes from a drone's aerial footage. On the ground, she confirms, this must be on the seating of the theatre of Pompeii. You can see from the way it's curved and sloping backwards. Built by Roman General Pompey in 55 BC, it was Rome's first permanent stone theatre. The theatre of Pompey demonstrates just how connected politics and entertainment were, Valerie explains. It wasn't just about performances, this was about political power. Comparing the dimensions of the theatre and the Colosseum, Valerie notes, the amphitheatre is like two theatres put together. By doubling the size in their Colosseum, Emperors Vespasian and Titus clearly wanted a massive audience for their spectacles. The Colosseum was built as an oval megastructure measuring 1/3 of a mile in circumference. Spectators entered through 80 archways, with Roman numerals above, indicating ticket numbers. Unlike the half-circle theatre of Pompey, this was a full wraparound arena that more than doubled the audience capacity from 20,000 to 50,000. This architectural evolution reveals how Roman rulers gradually perfected their use of public entertainment as a tool for controlling populations. The Colosseum represents the culmination of this approach, a monument designed not just to entertain, but to reinforce the emperor's authority and Rome's dominance. Returning to the Colosseum, Valerie examines how its design reinforced social stratification. I can see numbers written in Roman numerals, she points out, looking at the archways. This indicates the number on your ticket for entering the arena. Upon entering, spectators were directed to their assigned seating sections. Once inside, you would be directed to your section of seating, but you didn't get to choose what it was, Valerie explains. As you go further up to the top of the amphitheater, it gets steeper. You go along dark corridors and come out into a section of seating which has been assigned to you. The seating arrangement strictly followed social status. Those with the worst views sat at the very top, possibly standing room only, reserved for slaves and women. Those with greatest status sat closest to the emperor in his imperial box. Below them were elite senators on marble rows, then Roman knights known as equites, followed by soldiers, adolescent boys with tutors, and married men alongside ordinary citizens. The highest levels housed Rome's lower classes, enslaved people, and women and children. When you went to the games, you were in a very literal sense put in your place, Valerie explains. The 360-degree design meant everyone was in full view of everyone else. Not just the gladiators were on display, but the audience too. It was a socially reinforcing act to attend the amphitheater because you really understood your place in society. The Colosseum wasn't built simply to entertain. It was engineered to maintain social control by visually reinforcing the rigid hierarchy of Roman society. In Richborough, Tony's team uncovers a puzzling structure alongside the arena wall. They find evidence of a door, leading Tony to an exciting conclusion. This is a carcer, a place where animals or people waiting to enter the arena would be incarcerated, where we get that word from. This would be a very grim place, where fear would set in before that door rose, and you faced whatever awaited you in the arena. This discovery reveals how, even hundreds of miles from Rome, spectacle remained key to Roman culture. Paul explains, people coming from elsewhere in the empire, soldiers, traders, imperial officials, would expect these aspects of Roman culture. It's about spreading the idea of the Roman way, convincing conquered populations that this new way of life was better. Approximately 230 amphitheaters have been discovered across the former Roman Empire, built between the 1st century BC and 4th century AD, stretching from England to North Africa. Some still stand today in Pompeii, Verona, Arles, Italica, Elgem and Pula. Their entertainment followed consistent patterns designed to spread Roman values throughout conquered territories. Enemies of Rome faced public execution by crucifixion, burning or being mauled by wild animals. Gladiators wore armor inspired by Rome's ancient enemies and mythical figures, demonstrating Roman values of courage and valor. Even facing certain death, gladiators were expected to die bravely. Valerie offers insight into how the Colosseum functioned as a unifying force. Rome was the center of a huge empire with significant migration to its center. Most people sitting around this arena probably originated somewhere else, but the one thing that made them Roman, that created a feeling of Romanness, was that they sat and watched this spectacle. At the Colosseum, the emperor personified Rome through his grand entrance at the imperial gate and his prominent position in the imperial box. This is not only the best view in the arena, but the best place to be viewed, Valerie notes. We should be in no doubt that putting on games like this was crucial to the emperor maintaining power. In Volterra, Valeria uncovers a mysterious bricked-up window, indicating a radical shift in the amphitheater's history around the time gladiator games were banned throughout the empire. In 313 AD, Emperor Constantine outlawed the persecution of Christians, beginning reforms that would change the games. While he banned crucifixion for convicted criminals, gladiatorial combat continued. The turning point came in 404 AD, when a Christian monk was stoned to death while trying to stop a gladiatorial contest. This event reportedly influenced the Christian emperor Honorius to ban the games entirely. In this new Christian era, the Colosseum took on different significance. This inscription commemorates the Christians killed under the Roman Empire, Valerie points out. This became a place symbolizing Christian martyrs who died here, highlighting the inhumanity of the arena executions. As Christianity spread throughout the empire, the bloody spectacles that had once unified Romans became symbols of pagan cruelty. The amphitheaters, including the Colosseum, fell into disuse. Some were repurposed as fortresses or quarried for building materials, while others were abandoned to the elements. The Colosseum itself became a symbol of Christian martyrdom, with a cross erected in the arena where gladiators once fought to the death. The Roman Empire was Earth's most powerful, and its amphitheaters, with the Colosseum as the crown jewel, served as its monuments. Archaeological excavations reveal how these structures symbolized Rome wherever they were built, from the capital to the empire's farthest reaches. The genius of Emperors Vespasian and Titus was to harness gladiatorial games to imperial power. Through architectural innovation, they created venues where tens of thousands could witness spectacles that reinforced Roman values and social hierarchies. These weren't merely entertainment facilities, but sophisticated tools of cultural and political control. The amphitheater's elliptical design, with its focus on a central arena, created a shared experience that transcended language and local custom. Whether in Italy, Britain, Spain, or North Africa, the rituals performed in these spaces communicated Rome's power, wealth, and values to diverse populations. These discoveries show how amphitheaters came to represent the might of Rome: social order, military valor, and imperial power. Their symbolic potency remains so strong that even today, amphitheaters continue to stand as the most recognizable embodiments of the Roman Empire and its enduring legacy.